Welcome back friends in one more video of Sevin's online classes, and in this video lecture standard error will explain in simplest way. But before we start our lecture, make sure all of you are well versed with concept of standard deviation and variance. If not, please pause this video here and watch my lectures on standard deviation and variance first and then come back here. Let's first discuss some important points before we start our lecture. The most important statistic of central tendency is the sample mean. The variance and standard deviation are measures of dispersion or scatter of the value of a sample or population. Because means utilize a number of values in their calculation, they tend to be less variable than the individual. An extreme large or small value contributes only one part of its value to the sample mean and is therefore somewhat dampened out. When we calculate the sample mean, we are usually interested not in the mean of this particular sample, but in the population from which this sample comes. We usually collect data in order to generalize from them and so use the sample mean as an estimate of the mean for the whole population. Therefore, theoretically, mean of the population should be equal to mean of a sample, or the difference of population mean and sample mean should be 0. But in almost all the cases, this difference is never 0. Sample mean vary from sample to sample, and this variation is known as sampling distribution of the mean. To get an exact or near to exact value of mean for population, our sample size should be as maximum as possible. Because if we have a large standard deviation and we select a small sample, then we have a great chance of incorrectly estimating the mean. Fortunately, we can estimate how much sample mean will vary from the standard deviation of this sampling distribution, and this estimation is known as standard error of the mean. But at this point, we must be clear that standard error is a measure and it is not an error or mistake of data. The term standard error was introduced in 1897 by G.U. Yule, but it was altogether in a different context. The concept of standard error depends upon central limit theorem, and central limit theorem is a statistical theory stating that given a sufficiently large sample size from a population with a finite level of variance, the mean of all samples from the same population will be approximately equal to the mean of the population. Furthermore, all the samples will follow an approximate normal distribution pattern, with all variance being approximately equal to the variance of the population divided by each sample size. I think it's getting too much of technical, but as I promised in the beginning that this video will explain concept of standard error in a very simplified way. Therefore, for now, have a pause to the central limit theorem. You can come back here again once the video is over. Let's try to understand concept of standard error in terms of standard deviation. The standard error is usually reported to one more decimal place than the data, or if n is large, the two more places. Standard deviation and standard error are often confused, so let's all clear up once and for all. I think the easiest way to understand the standard deviation and standard error is through simple example. Suppose we take 15 samples A, B, C up to O, and in each sample we took 15 different leaves. And this is the average or the mean of the value we measure for sample A, and this is the standard deviation of both sides of the mean. It quantifies how much data are spread out in sample A. Now imagine we did the exact same experiment with all 15 separate samples with 15 different leaves each time. This would result in 15 different mean or average, one for each set of measurement. we would also have 15 separate standard deviation around the each mean. Here we can see that spread of mean, which is 48.47 to 82.07, is comparatively less than the spread of individual value, which is 41 to 99. And if we use all these mean to calculate mean of means and standard deviation of means, this standard deviation of means will be known as standard error. To make it more clear, let's use a number line. Here we will plot all the mean at their exact position on a number line. Like mean of sample A will be plotted here at 48.47 and B will be plotted at 60.87 position of number line. Now imagine we did the exact same experiment with all 15 separate samples to plot them on a number line. And finally, we plot a mean of all these means. And this is the standard deviation on both sides of mean of the mean. So it is little bit a tongue twister over there. So we can define standard error as standard deviation of the mean is called as standard error. And that's all to it. Just that simple. Let's revise standard deviation versus standard error one more time on number line simultaneously. Here you can see we have plotted mean of sample A, which is 48.47, and this black arrow is showing the standard deviation or spread of individual value of sample A, which is 3.96, whereas if we will check the mean of sample E, which is 76.47, which will be plotted over here, and as it have a large spread of data, and therefore the standard deviation of sample E will be 16.38. Now imagine we are plotting only mean on number line. This is the position of mean A, and we can also do the same plotting for all the mean. And the mean of means for all these mean will be 63.74. And the spread of these mean will known as standard deviation of mean or standard error, which is 10.198 for this example. I hope now the concept of standard error and standard deviation is clear. If not, replay the video from the beginning before moving ahead. Still, if you are having any doubt, please leave your comment in comment box. Now we can compare standard deviation and standard error. The standard deviation quantifies the variation within a set of measurements, whereas the standard error quantifies the variation in the mean from multiple sets of measurements. The confusing thing is that the standard error can be estimated from a single set of measurements, even though it describes the means from multiple sets. Thus, even if you have only a single set of measurement, you are often given the option to plot the standard error. Standard deviation tells you how the data is distributed around the mean. Big standard deviation means some of the data are pretty far from the mean. In almost all the cases, you should plot the standard deviation since graphs are usually intended to describe the data you measured, whereas standard error tells you how the mean is distributed. Standard deviation is always more than standard error because raw data is always more widely distributed compared to mean of samples. Standard deviation depends upon sample mean and the distance of individual item of the sample, whereas the standard error of the sample mean depends on both the standard deviation and the sample size. Standard error decreases if we increase the sample size, whereas standard deviation will not tend to change as we increase the size of our sample. So, if we want to say how widely scattered some measurements are, we use the standard deviation. If we want to indicate the uncertainty around the estimate of the mean measurement, we quote the standard error of the mean. The standard error is also used to calculate p-value in many circumstances. Standard error of the mean and standard error of the standard deviation. Like standard error of the mean, we can calculate standard error of standard deviation by taking standard deviation of standard deviation. For example, let's revisit the leaf length experiment where we have a data set of 15 samples of 15 different leaves each time. We have already calculated mean and standard deviation for individual samples as well as standard error of the mean for the population. Based on this data, standard deviation of the standard deviations or standard error of the deviation can also be calculated, and which is 3.67 in this example. Common types of standard error. We already knew two types of standard error, namely standard error of the mean and standard error of the deviation. Apart from these, there are other types of error as well, such as standard error of difference between two means, standard error of proportion, standard error of difference between two proportions, standard error of the regression estimate, and some other specific type of standard error. Among these, most frequently used error is standard error of the mean, which is also commonly known as standard error only. In addition to this error, the difference between two mean is also quite frequent in estimating various tests of hypothesis. Estimation of standard error of the mean. We should use word estimation rather than calculation for standard error, as exact precise calculation is not possible for any kind of standard error. Standard error of the mean can be calculated as s over square root of n, where s stands for standard deviation of the sample and n stands for sample size. To estimate the standard error of the deviation, the formula is s divided by square root of 2n, where s is the standard deviation of the sample and n stands for sample size. But standard error of deviation is rarely used in statistical analysis. Estimation of standard error of difference between two mean. When independent random sample n1 and n2 are from same population and standard deviation of the population sigma, also known standard error of difference between two mean, which can be calculated by using following formula. SED equal to square root of sigma square in bracket 1 over n1 plus 1 over n2. When independent random samples n1 and n2 are from different population and standard deviation of the population sigma 1 and sigma 2 are also known, standard error of difference between two mean can be calculated by using following formula. Standard error of difference of mean will be equal to square root of variance 1 divided by sample size 1 and variance 2 divided by sample size 2. When independent random sample n1 and n2 are from different population and standard deviation of the population are unknown, standard error of difference between two mean can be calculated by using following formula. SED will be equal to variance of sample 1 divided by sample size 1 plus variance of sample 2 divided by sample size 2. Estimation of standard error of proportion. Standard error for proportion P for sample size n can be calculated by using following formula. SCP will be equal to square root of P into 1 minus P divided by n. Estimation of standard error of difference between two proportions. When two independent proportions P1 and P2 of the two samples N1 and N2 are from different population, standard error of difference between two proportions can be calculated by using following formula. SCP will be equal to square root of proportion 1 multiplied by 1 minus proportion 1 divided by sample size 1 plus proportion 2 multiplied by 1 minus proportion 2 divided by sample size 2. In both the cases, proportion may be in fraction or in percentage. Common mistake in research. As we know, the terms standard error and standard deviation are often confused. The contrast between these two terms reflects the important distinction between data description and interference, one that all researchers should appreciate. The standard deviation is a measure of variability. When we calculate the standard deviation of a sample, we are using it as an estimate of the variability of the population from which the sample was drawn. For data with a normal distribution, about 95% of individuals will have value within 2 standard deviation of the mean, the other 5% being equally scattered above and below these limits. In many publications, a plus-minus sign is often used to join the standard deviation or standard error to an observed mean. For example, 69.4 plus minus 9.3 kg. That notation gives no indication whether the second figure is the standard deviation or the standard error, or indeed something else. There are many reviews which were published in last 2 decades found that almost 10 to 20% of total publication failed to identify which measure of dispersion was reported. Therefore, it's a request to all of you, whenever you are quoting plus minus sign, make sure to indicate clearly whether this plus minus sign is indicating the standard deviation from the mean or standard error. Now you start thinking when we should use standard error and when we should use standard deviation. Actually, it depends. If the message you want to carry is about the spread and variability of the data, then standard deviation is the metric to use. If you are interested in the precision of the mean or in comparing the testing difference between means, then standard error is your metric. Of course, deriving confidence intervals around your data using standard deviation or the mean using standard error require your data to be normally distributed. Now let's take some examples for estimation of standard error. In example 1, Mr. X measured the plant height of a plant species. Based on the following data set, we have to estimate the standard error of the mean for plant height. First of all, we must know the total number of observations, or n, that is 10 over here, and the summation x for this will be 240. Now we can calculate the mean plant height by using formula summation x over n, and for this example this is 24. Now in the next column, the deviation of this mean plant height with their actual height will be mentioned, followed by the squaring of this deviation. The total of this square deviation is 136. Now we can calculate the variance of plant height by using this formula. Now we can calculate the variance, or S square value is 15.11. To measure the standard deviation of mean plant height, we have to calculate the square root of variance, and the square root of 15.11 will be 3.887. Now finally we can calculate the standard error of mean for the plant height by using formula standard deviation divided by square root of n. And by putting all the value, we can calculate for this example the standard error of mean plant height will be 1.2292. Or in other words, we can say that the mean of the sample is 24 and there are chances that 24 plus minus 1.2292 will be the population mean. Now let's take second example, where in a class 2 students scored 0 marks, 1 student scored 1 mark, 5 students scored 2 marks, 6 students scored 3 marks, 9 students scored 4 marks, and 7 students scored 5 marks in an assignment. We have to estimate the standard error of their average marks. First of all, we should know the value of summation f by adding all these values, and that is 30 over here. In the next column, we will multiply the number of students with their respective marks, and the summation of fx is 100. Now using this formula, we can calculate the mean marks for these 30 students, and which is 3.333. In the next column, we will calculate the deviation of their marks followed by the squared value of this deviation. And finally, we will multiply this squared deviation with their respective frequency. And the total of this frequency and squared deviation is 60.667. With the help of this formula, we can calculate the variance for this data set, and it is 2.092. By taking the square root of variance, we can also calculate the standard deviation, and for this data set, it is 1.446. Finally, we can calculate the standard error of marks by using this formula, standard deviation divided by square root of summation f. And after putting all these values, we can calculate that for this example, the standard error of the marks of student is 0.264. Let's take one more example, where in a city, sugar level of 100 randomly selected people was recorded as follows. We have to estimate the standard error of mean sugar level. First of all, we will make a class interval table and calculate the mid value for individual class. And we know that total number of people here is 100. In the next column, we will multiply the number of people with their mean sugar level. And the total of this fx value will be 17,400. By using mean formula for discrete series, we can calculate that 174 is the mean sugar level for these 100 people. In the next column, we will calculate the deviation of this mean value, followed by the squaring of this value, and then we will multiply the frequency with this squared deviation. And the summation of product of x with their squared deviation is 2,42,000. By using variance formula, we can calculate the variance for this data set is 2444.44, whereas the standard deviation can be calculated by taking the square root of variance, and for this data set it is 49.44. And finally, we can calculate the standard error by using this formula. And we can calculate that the standard error of mean sugar level of these 100 randomly selected people is 4.944. Or in other words, we can say that population from which this sample has been taken out have a mean sugar level 174 plus minus of 4.944. Let's take one more example. In a random sample of 100 seeds, mean and standard deviation was recorded as 19 gram and 2.8 gram respectively. If the population mean is unknown, we have to estimate at what limit population mean is likely to lie. To solve this question, we knew that sample mean is 19, standard deviation is 2.8, and the sample size is 100. With these values, we can calculate standard error of sample mean by using this formula, and standard error of sample mean for this example is 0.28. And we knew that population mean is always sample mean plus minus standard error of sample mean. Therefore, population mean is most likely to lie in the range of 19 plus minus 0.28 gram, or in other words, we can say the population mean is most likely to lie in the range of 18.72 gram to 19.28 gram. Now let's take one more example. For the following data set, we have to calculate the standard error of difference between average marks of college A and college B. As we knew that based on this data set, we can say that S1 is 15, S2 is 20, N1 is 600 and N2 is 800. And we knew the formula for standard error of difference of mean or SED will be square root of S1 square divided by N1 plus S2 square divided by N2. After putting all these values in this formula, we can calculate that the standard error for college A and college B mean marks will be 0.866. Now let's take one more example. The high temperature in a city was randomly measured for 10 different days per month during the month of June to September, and the mean highest daily temperature were recorded 32, 34, 31 and 29, as well as the standard error during these months were 4.77, 2.13, 2.89 and 3.11 respectively for June to September. Here we have to construct a bar diagram for the high temperature in the city during these months. To solve these, first we have to make the bar diagram for different months. Based on the data set, we can say that for the month of June, this brown color bar is showing the mean high temperature and this black line is showing the standard error during the month of June. Or we can say that in the month of June, the mean high temperature for all the days is likely to lie between this range. In the same manner, we can plot red bar column for July, green bar column for August and blue bar column for September. Here you can see that the length of this black line or black error bar is different in all these months, as it depends upon the standard error for individual months. Dear friend, so this is all about standard error for now, and we will also revise all these measures in detail one more time in coming videos where we will discuss various kind of test of hypothesis. Till then, like and share this video, press the bell icon to subscribe my channel. Jai Hind, bye bye.